Welcome to the Front Seat Life podcast. This is Jessica Butts, your host and CEO and creator of Front Seat Life, where I help you be unapologetically who you are in your life, love, and business. Hello, Front Seat Lifers. It is Jessica Butts, and I am going to be fully transparent with you. I am in bed. I am sick. I am not feeling well. So today's episode will be a short episode, and it's ironic that this is what I actually wanted to talk to you about today, and then this is happening. So today's episode, I'm going to be calling the 80-20 rule of rest, which again is quite ironic that I am now being rested by the universe because apparently I did not rest enough after the Front Seat Life event. So for those of you who are dedicated listeners, thank you so much, by the way, and listen each week. You know that the Front Seat Life team and myself, we just had our big event once a year. It's wonderful, but it is a tremendous amount of effort. I'm walking around in heels. I'm doing all the things. I'm giving. I'm loving. I'm taking care of the team. There's a lot going on. And as a Super J, I will admit to not being the best at resting. I get done with something, and the NJ, that entrepreneurial mind that I have, I have to learn how to rest better because my NJ mind immediately goes to, okay, we're done. What's next? So for those of you who know me, I tattooed the word be on my arm for my 45th birthday to remind myself to just be. However, it is always challenging and always work for me. So I purposefully scheduled a couple days down at the Post Hotel in Leavenworth, and I went by myself for one day and I brought the team for another. But I think what I didn't do was rest in my own home enough. I had this feeling of as soon as it was over, I was with my man and we spent a day together, and then I rushed to Leavenworth and I just was driving home yesterday from the post, and it just hit me. I all of a sudden got all the body chills, and my body started tightening up, and my head got foggy, and I thought, oh no, here it comes. And unfortunately, it has come. I am now in bed doing a podcast episode, but again, ironically, it feels like perfect timing for those of us like me. A lot of you are very type A, you're very driven, you're very, again, that personality type of that J, and we push and we push and we push. And sometimes it's hard for us to rest, especially as entrepreneurial spirits. We are excited for what we've done. We want to celebrate it, but we also are on to the next thing. I spent some time with my dear friend Jenny Dawn last night, and she was just saying it usually takes her like 3 full days of kind of resting, of not thinking about what's next. And I thought, okay, right. Just a reminder, like that is what I need to do. So I wanted to bring my own awareness and my own story to you from my bed here in Kenmore, Washington on a rainy morning to talk to you about this 80-20 rule that I'll be honest, I've started to realize the importance of this 80-20 rule the more that I teach about personality type. So as you guys may have remembered, that we want, in general, us human beings, we want to try to spend 80% of our time in our front seat. And that is, I think, a goal. I want to say at best, but the reality is, I think that is realistic, that 80% of our time, again, we are our best selves. We are in our front seat. We're feeling energetic. We're feeling our best selves. We're spending time doing the things that we're innately good at, which puts us in flow, which makes us feel amazing, which makes us sleep better, with all the good things, right? You followed along enough to understand that the front seat is how God designed us, in our flow, all of the goodness. But the question always begs, what about the other 20%? What does that mean? And I have learned through the years that the baby in the back seat is the other 20%. So we truly want to strive for 0% as much as humanly possible of our drunk uncle, which is all the stuff that we suck at. So, go back, read the book, check that out, look it up on jessicabutts.com. There's plenty of information about there if you don't know what I'm talking about. But those are the things that we all innately suck at. I seriously want people to strive for 0%. I mean, it might be, 1, 2, 3, less than 5%, which still then answers what about this other 20%? And the 20% I've come to realize is realistic. It really, really is realistic. But as overachievers, as type A's, we don't like to let ourselves be in that 20%. Can I get an amen? An amen to that. We don't like it. So I started talking at the event about this, and I asked some people, one of my wonderful clients, Marty Reeder, if she's listening, she's my ESTJ client, and I asked her, of course, to do the math because she's better at all the math and all the details about what is the actual percentage per week or per month of 20%. And 20% of 7 days is 1.4 days a week. That's a whole day a week that we need to be resting. And hold on for that, because I'm going to come back to that in just a second. Or 20% of a month is 6 entire days, which of course for us women, we also have to think how cyclical is that. Kate Northup just wrote an amazing new book called Do Less, and she really talks about straight up paying attention to your cycles. But I'm relating this more to just our personality type. That 20% of the time, if we are proactive, this is the part I was promising to come back to. If we proactively build in, listen up, type A's and J's, if we build in rest ahead of time, the rest that we really, really need, like literally turning off social media, seriously checking out, not always being of service to other people, being freaking soulfish. So my community, the Front Seat Life community, came up with that new word, soulfish. Taking time away to replenish your soul, being selfish so that you can then be of service to other people. To actually take that time off so that it's proactive, so that you can come back and 80% of the time then being your best self. And I really, really feel like this is a mindset shift. It is for me, and I've been teaching this shit for like 20 years, is that when we don't rest, stick with me, when we don't rest, right? It inevitably comes up. This is happening for me. I thought that I scheduled enough rest in. I'm going to be honest. I actually thought I was doing a good job, but now I'm taking note of like, okay, don't rush out the house. Stay in your own home. You love your house. Stay resting. Be in your own bed. There was still this like, oh, I need to go do this. And oh, I want to go check this out because, I'm somewhere else versus at your own home when you're just like, I need to chill. And so I then put myself into my backseat. So my body told me too much, you need to rest. And if you don't rest, I'm going to rest it for you. Because of course today I had a million things to do. I got to do a podcast and I had calls with people and I have my, accountant, my, meeting with my accountant and I have all these things I need to do. And my body was just like, girl, you're not done. And so it rested me. So when and again, I'm fully saying like, I don't even have this figured out. I don't even have this perfected, but we as women in particular, as entrepreneurs, as givers, we are always, always, always being of service to other people. So when we can start being soulfish 20% of the time from a place of proactivity, being proactive about it, saying 1.4 days a week, whatever that means. I guess it's Sunday and Saturday afternoons or one whole day during the week. Again, my dear friend Jenny Dawn is so good at this. She's so good at this. She just takes entire days to be completely soulfish in the middle of the week. She only sees clients 3 days a week. 2 of the days are meant for herself to replenish herself, and then the rest of the time is for her family. And it's a really smart and beautiful way to be of service. Yet we allow things to creep in, right? I'm the worst at this. All of a sudden, my Fridays start getting filled up, and my Thursdays, things, go into, I can get back to you, and the things that I put off, and I'm not setting strong boundaries. And we're all doing this. Instead of setting a strong boundary and saying, I have to take care of myself either an entire 6 days, a month, people. I know people who don't do 6 days a year. This is 6 days a month, or an entire 1.4 days a week. This allows us to be compartmentalized. It allows us to, oh my God, it's going to make me cry as I'm sitting here in bed, like feeling this myself about, I desire so much to give the people in my life, to give my clients, to give this podcast, to give my team, to give my partner, to give my friends. Look at all that giving. I desire wholeheartedly to be able to give 100% of myself to all of those people. All of those people. It's a lot of people. But if I am not taking care of myself, if you are not taking care of yourself 1.5 whole days a week or 6 days a month, not a year, you can't do that. You're going to get sick. You're going to be a martyr. You're going to be a victim. You're going to be bitchy. You're going to be in your back seat, which for me as extroverts, all of you extroverts, we retreat, and all of you introverts, you lash out. So again, we can be forced. I want to be very clear about this. We can be forced into our back seats, which is a place of reactivity, or we can be in a place of proactivity and schedule it. Yes, you Jays, we love to schedule it. Somebody asked me at the Front Seat Life event, they were like, can Jays schedule it? I was like, oh girl, we have to, because otherwise we're this and that. And oh, yep, I can fill you in. Yep, I can put you in here. Oh, yep, I've got a few minutes over here. Yep, I can do this. Oh yeah, Sundays. No, I can go to that brunch with the friends. I can do, right? We're all over the place. We are so over busy. And we have been programmed to learn how to do this and be this way and to overgive. And it is at the detriment of ourselves and our rocks. And again, the rocks are the most important things in your life. Your family, yourself, your friends, your work, and, maybe church, maybe a few other things. But we're so used to saying yes to every single thing in our life versus saying, no, I'm going to set a boundary because I am important. Sleeping is important. Resting is important. Going on vacation is important. Spending a whole day, watching Netflix and eating pizza, or just going for a walk or doing whatever I need to do. I'm amazingly reminded of this again as I'm sitting in bed being rested, because again, I guess I just didn't do enough. And so that's what I wanted to bring you guys today. I would love to hear from you about what this would be like for you to start implementing this 80-20 rule of rest into your life. What would it mean for you to tell your family, to tell your spouse, to tell your significant other, to tell your kids that, I'm learning this new 80-20 rule of rest about my personality type, that this is factual information, that this is, something that I need to do for ourselves. And what would it mean for your spouse to rest? What would it mean for your spouse to take an entire day for themselves to rest as well? Dax Shepard and Esther Perel on Dax's amazing podcast called Armchair Expert. He and Esther Perel have one of the best conversations about relationship advice I've ever heard in my life. 45 minutes into that episode, Esther Perel, Dax Shepard, 45 minutes into about the 1:15 mark. No, it's about 1:30 marks. It's about 45 minutes. They just go off about basically that relationships need space. We need our alone time. Your partner cannot be everything for you. And so implementing again this 80-20 rule in your relationships and teaching that to your children, that Mom, Dad, we need some time away. We need, you to be able to go to your grandmother's house or your auntie's house or stay with a nanny or whatever. And that you allow your partner to go be by themselves as well. That we cannot be everything to everybody. If we do not rest, the universe is going to rest us. So I'm going to go rest. I am going to go rest. I am excited to come to you next week as well. The episode today meant to be the 2 biggest lessons that I learned from the Front Seat Life event, but this one was secondary to that, and it feels more appropriate as I'm coming to you from bed today. So I will be recording that one tomorrow before I leave for Maui. So tomorrow morning, hopefully I will be feeling better, and I'm going to record that one. So stay tuned for that for next week too, as I come to you with more lessons about what I have learned from the Front Seat Life event. They are 2 really, really big doozies and a pretty couple amazing stories there. So thank you so much for listening. I would love to hear from you guys over on iTunes about what you might be doing to implement this 80-20 rule into your life, this 80-20 rule of rest. All right, I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye. All right, everybody, I have a confession to make. I have a new obsession, and that obsession is reading your ridiculously wonderful, loving, amazing reviews on iTunes. I love them. None of this even matters without all of you. So as a thank you, each week I will be reading 1 review on air and calling out your review with your name or your iTunes handle. So here's how it's going to go. You're going to go to Instagram and follow me at Front Seat Life. When you hear your name called out on the podcast, you are going to send me a DM with your address and say, "Oh my gosh, you just read my review." And I or my team will be sending you some Front Seat Life swag. We've got books and we've got tank tops and we've got journals and we have these adorable pink swells. So we will be choosing from the goodie bag and sending it out as a thank you. So thank you in advance, and I am so deeply honored to have the opportunity to thank you back. All right, everybody, today's review comes from FTC Mama. FTC Mama. And this person writes, "Hold on to your britches, bitches." I already love this person. Hold on to your bitches, britches. This podcast is so jam-packed full of serious truth bombs and good content. I cannot get enough. She is about to help you get unstuck, just like she is helping me. Thank you, Jessica Kickbutt. You are freaking awesome. Thank you, FTC Mama. You are freaking awesome. That is my kind of review. Thank you so much. As always, pop over to my Instagram handle over at Front Seat Life. Send me a message that says, "Oh my God, girl, you just read my review," and we will, of course, send you some beautiful swag. So thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you so much for listening. I know that you have a ton of options, and the fact that you are taking time to listen to the Front Seat Life podcast means absolutely everything to me. If you're interested in learning more about the Front Seat Life way of life in the community, there's a couple ways that you can do that. First is always starting with your personality assessment tool. It's available on my website at jessicabutts.com. It's totally free, and it will help you figure out your personality type so you'll have some idea of what we're talking about. Next is, if you're interested in hiring me for a keynote or some coaching or strategy days or the fabulous and amazing Front Seat Life community, you can find out all about all of that at jessicabutts.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.